Hello, welcome to the video introduction to the Wild Pockets Builder. During this video you'll learn the very basics of working within the Builder environment, which will allow you to, in the end, start building levels that you can put in games in Wild Pockets. Let's start off by hitting the Builder link at the top of the Wild Pockets website. Now, the Builder works much like any other 3D level building environment, allowing you to easily move around and place objects within your level. When you first load in, you get this welcome screen which lets you start on a new project, open an existing project, or get access to any number of help forms. We'll close this for now and just start working directly in the Builder. Now, when you first get in, what you'll want to do is learn how to navigate. You can navigate simply using the arrow keys for forward, backward, left, and right. You can change your elevation using the up and down arrows while holding Shift on your keyboard. You can rotate around the scene by using the right click on your mouse, and you can scroll in and out of the scene using your scroll wheel. Now, when you load it in, the first thing you probably notice is these two cubes in the middle of the level. These are the starting cubes on any new level that you can easily remove or use to build your own level. Now, to start out, let's select one by hitting the left click on your mouse button. So, in order to interact with objects such as these cubes, you have the toolbar here on the left. All these tools give you different functions that can help you work with objects. The default tool is the Move tool, which lets you easily click on an object and drag it around the scene. You can also click on one of these arrows to move it along a specific axis, or one of these boxes to move it along a specific plane. If you want to rotate the object, you can hit the Rotate tool here. You can freely rotate it, or again, rotate it along a specific axis. The Scale tool lets you uniformly scale an object up or down. And the Joint tool is a special tool that allows you to add joints between multiple objects. Now, joints are a little complicated, so you can learn more about them in the standard Wild Pockets manual. For now, we're going to select it using the fifth tool here, which is the Select tool that you use to draw a box around the object you want to select, and the Joint tool we're just going to delete using the Delete button. Now, with the Select tool still selected, you can draw a box around multiple objects and say, select the Move tool, and move both of them at once. Now, objects also have properties, which you will now learn about using the right toolbar here, which is, for all intents and purposes, the Wild Pockets dock. So the second object here on the dock is for object properties. So if you select an object, it will show up all of the properties associated with that object in this window. There's several types of properties, such as physical properties, which include rotation, position, and size, as well as mass and other physics properties. You can change visual properties such as color, shadow, light, and textures. You can assign scripts to the object. You can add the object to a blueprint so that you can save a collection of objects to be called later. And you can set properties to the object, which you can use when scripting your game. Now, above that, there's the global properties, which lets you set properties for the entire scene. First, there's physical properties, which is simply gravity settings. So you can give your scene no gravity, high gravity, gravity to the side, so it's as if there's wind pushing. You can set visual properties so that you can change the properties of all of the lights in your scene, including the light widget, which gives you a visual indicator of where your lights are located. And finally, you can set your script properties, which is very important because the script file is the script that will be called when your scene first starts and will control all of the behavior of your game. Now, this third tab down here is the library, which allows you to search the global library as well as your own for any number of assets that you might be looking for. This is one of the powerful tools of Wild Pockets. So you can do something such as search for objects and say, I want a frog. I'll do a search for frog. And you can see there are a couple in here, and all I have to do is simply click and drag it into the scene, and now I've got this frog in the scene. Now, I want to make sure that I have an animated frog. So I'm going to click on the search animations. And if this frog has animations made for it, they should show up here. And I see an animation, and I can drag it over to test the animation out. Sure enough, the frog is animated. Now, a frog in just a plain white scene is a little boring, so we're going to look for a grass texture that we can set the frog on. Let's see. Now, there are a bunch of different grass textures, and the plane that everything resides on can have the texture swapped out simply by grabbing and dragging a texture onto it. So now it looks a little more natural for the frog to be hopping along this scene. Now, if you've created your own assets, you can use the File Explorer to view your own folders or folders of other people that you are working with. So here you can treat any of these assets just like searching the global library. Next, there's the debug console. So if you're scripting actions in your game, you can test them out using the debug console so you don't have to run your game every time you come up with new scripts. You can do anything as simple as do a print statement, so print hello, and hit execute, and it will execute that print statement. Now, the final tab here is the function documentation. This allows you to search the entire API so that anything that you would put in the debug console or your normal scripting will be located here. The last part of the system is the file bar up top. This allows you to do simple functions such as opening scene files, saving your current scene, publishing, and viewing more properties of your scene. You can go to the Edit button, which gives you options such as undo and redo, which you can also access using Control-Z and Control-Y respectively. It allows you to clone objects, so if I select that frog and clone, you will see I now have a second frog. And you can access object properties from here as well. View gives you certain options such as viewing bones, which now you can see this shows that this frog was rigged to be animated because it has a lot of bones here. You can also view collisions, and you can see that the frog has had collisions made for it, so it is ready to be put into a game and it won't fall through the world. You can also go through the move tools from here, and in folders you have the interesting options of accessing the local folder where all of your files are contained on your local computer, the server folder, which is the same as the file browser we looked at earlier, and you can configure file syncing, which is how your local computer talks to the database on the server. Finally, when you're working with your game, in order to test how it works, you can do begin tests under the debug menu, or you can do play pocket and view page, which will be more representative of how someone playing your game will see the game. You also have other debugging options here which are useful when you're having problems with your game. Finally, there's the help menu where you can access any number of resources for help, such as our forums, our tutorial lists, and our different manuals. That's it for this demonstration. I hope this has been helpful. Remember to check back on our website, especially the tutorial section under Support Tutorials on the main site. Thank you for watching.